I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the site, and hopefully we can kind of get everything covered here. This might take a couple individual videos, but just to let you know that I'm just going to go through, and I think I'm confident that you'll be able to edit everything within the site and be happy. So let me go ahead and I'm going to sign out just really quickly so you can kind of see the experience from your perspective. So when you're logged into the site, when you're logged out of the site, so let's say you're on the site and you're going to access it as an end user. So you'd go to your Sun Country domain. You obviously wouldn't be logging in. So what you'd see is basically what you see here. Basically, we'd be able to navigate around, just like you're used to. And then to log into the site, if we actually press the escape key, we'll go to Sun Country dash. It'll actually go directly to the Squarespace account, where you'll be able to log in with your own admin account. I'm just going to go ahead and use my own admin account and log in. And instantly you're taken to, well, once we upgrade, we won't see that anymore. So let me just pull this down just to get a little more space. Okay. So when signing in, you'll instantly see this this area here. We're signed in as an admin user. There are other users on the account as well, and I think that's in the permissions area. So you can invite multiple contributors if you wanted to have some front office people help with just some content. You could actually set up kind of a content editor. They can't change settings, but they could actually edit page content. But you'll quickly find that it's not going to be too difficult to maintain things yourself. If you were to add a blog and do things like that to the site, then I would suggest we could set up multiple accounts for each blog user, and so when they would make a post, it would actually add to their own collection of posts within the site. But anyway, I will go back here to the beginning. It's a very good place to start. Sorry, Sound of Music. I have to keep things light because this is a light topic. We're having fun. Anyway, so this arrow here is kind of like your friend. I mean, it won't be visible for the outside visitor, obviously. So this is just an admin kind of feature only. So this is kind of our preview mode of how the site will be seen by those visitors. Page navigation, that's what this all is down here. And to get to those pages, if we just pop this open again, we can say pages. Then we will see all the navigation that we have laid out here. Home is a link. That's what this little icon represents. Why Choose Us is a link, which is there actually. Our brochure. Oh, and let me explain why those are there but not showing up here. You'll also see a few on the end: request an appointment, make a payment, search, and contact us. The last visible, at least from what we see, is insurance and payments. But for the mobile user, what I've done is I've added extra menu items to be able to access these items on the mobile menu. So when that mobile visitor is on the site and they click the menu, they'll be able to see there was that last one, but here's those additional links. Boom, boom, boom. So they'll be able to see those areas as well. So that'll make it kind of handy for them. It's just kind of a nice to have kind of feature. Anyway, you don't have to really worry about those. I guess just don't move the order of those, because I do have some code that hides these links, and we'll get to that more. I don't want to go too deeply into the nerd forest at this point. But let's talk about the real menu, which is what starts here. So what we have is these folders, and each folder will represent this drop down. So Meet Our Team has its own drop down as well, and it gets a little weird with all this stuff going on, right? But you can pretty much see that, yeah, you can get to those areas. And Meet Our Team. Oh yeah, so here's like the you can't click on these main parent menus, but that's actually done on purpose to allow the mobile visitor or the touch screen user, if you will, to be able to access the site without having to use like a mouse over type event. So basically the touch user would click on new patient, and it would open up this menu, and then they'd be able to make a selection. So we can go further into that, but just wanted to show you how the pages and specifically all of the navigation aligns in here. So for example, if we wanted, like, let's say we have our brochure, and let's say we either don't want to show this anymore, or we want to put it in another menu, what we can do in order of the way I just spoke is we can actually disable this page. So by clicking that gear, we can go say disable, confirm, and if we say save, it's grayed out there. So you know, if there's an additional page that you want to add, and let's say this page is going to be like, you know, holiday extravaganza. Good luck at spelling that. So we just created a new page, and the world could actually see this page. Oh, once we refresh, it'll end up down here. There's just an issue with Squarespace in general. Let me go ahead and do that just to be cool. It's still there, but let's put it down there. Now if we refresh again, there's some caching or something that's going on. There we go. Extravaganza is at the bottom. So the world would be able to see this now if they went to the site and holiday extravaganza, and it would take them to this blank page. So what we can do while working on that, a couple different things. We could say disabled, and then save, and then no one would be able to access that. So what I can do is actually grab the link just to kind of show you, and I'm going to use Google Chrome. Oh, my Google Chrome is acting up. Let me do it again. Oh, come on now. Let's not be difficult. There we go. Okay, so I'll explain about this page URL business here shortly. It's a little confusing when you're dealing with that. But anyway, so here's holiday extravaganza. Oh, we're actually logged in. Sorry. Log out. So I was an admin user on Chrome as well. And again, you won't have to do this business here, MKCAB. This is just basically to keep both visitors out, you know, people who might find the site, or it'll actually keep Google out from indexing all this kind of temporary kind of content, which is a good thing. So anyway, we don't see holiday extravaganza in our menu here, which is good, because it's disabled. And then if we wanted to / oh good, I don't have to retype it. If we do this, then at least, you know, oh no, 404 error. So I put in this error page specifically for people who are, you know, looking for content that might not exist, blah, 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 blah. It would go to this error page. So that's just an FYI. All right, so if we wanted to start adding content to this holiday extravaganza page, I will talk about that here shortly. But let's also look at let's do the other version of, you know, we have an enabled page now, but we don't want it to show up in that menu. What we can do then is we can actually grab this, drag it, and drop it. And if we just keep going, keep holding it, keep going. A lot of pages. This non-linked section. So non-linked just basically means any pages or any content that's added below this non-linked area will not show up on the navigation bar. So the page actually exists right now. So if we go back to our, oops, let me, yeah, it's saved because all we did was move it. So I guess it's gone there. But if I type now holiday extravaganza again, holiday, there's an actual page there. So we can actually get to that page now, but it's just not visible. So most likely someone probably won't find that content. You can't always say they won't find it because Google might be able to find that somehow, but really there's no link to it that we've added. So that's why it's called not linked. So we have this page now, and this is something that's going to happen in November or something. So we're not ready to show it yet, but we can go ahead and start working on content on the page. So a good way to start a page like this is you can do a couple different things. You could start with an existing page and copy it. Let me make our brochure active again because it is active. But that was an example where those are card. Can't remember what you called those. Anyway, those are not really a brochure. So if you're working on a brochure and you want to actually allow some sort of downloads section, like marketing downloads, which you probably wouldn't call them that, you could do the same type of page. But in this case, we said, oh well, it's not ready for the world yet. Let's just disable it, and it's there. It can be proofed by other members of the site who can log in and go see it, but it's not enabled. So to enable the page, then we just say enabled, and then it'll show up. So that's why when we were here, it's actually still not going to show up until we refresh in the real world. So our brochure. Ta-ta-ta. Okay. So about copying a page. So we talked about down here in our not linked section, we have our holiday extravaganza, and it's blank. There's nothing on it. So what we can do is if we're like, well, we know it's going to be like this Healthy Minds page, which is I think it's just a basic page, just a full wide page it's got a header and it's got all this stuff. We would say, oh yeah, this is kind of our standard page. And actually what I can do after, or I'll just do it during this demo, is I will make kind of a template version of a page so that you won't feel like you're going to mess up one of the existing pages. We won't, but just letting you know, that's what I'm going to do. So we have the Healthy Minds page. So what I can do is go down to the bottom of this page and I can say duplicate and confirm. And so what happens then is Healthy Minds still exists up here, but what's happened is it's created a copy of that with exactly the same content within the page, but we're prompted here to rename it. So what I'm going to call this is generic page. Okay, so that you'll be able to see this going forward, and we can always make a copy off of this page. So what we have now is a generic page, and when mousing over in any page, and this applies to all content areas of the whole site, is you'll be able to see these cues that'll kind of pop up, like request appointment, what's this thing, request appointment, site title, edit. So if we said, oh yeah, sorry, request appointment is part of my menu there. But if you click edit on this site title business, it'll bring this area into edit mode, which we don't want to do that. But anyway, I can show you those. Those are more advanced kind of things. Navigation, if you click edit here, it's just going to go, hey, over here to the left, over here. It'll do that. So you really can't edit in place, but that's just kind of a nice thing to remember. Oh yeah, that's right. I need to edit this stuff over here. And then there is actually header content on every page, and there's additional footer content on every page. What that means, this is really kind of cool, is it'll allow you to add additional content above and below on every single page. Let's say on this request an appointment page, we have some huge notice that needs to go out, like wallpapering office this week. How embarrassing is this? This week, no appointments allowed. I don't know what you say. So you can do those kind of things, just like a note directly within the page right there. And then I guess you'd want to make it shout. Yeah, you probably want to add some other things to it. So basically, we just typed text content by clicking edit, and then if I hit save, you'll be able to see that it will just kind of go right in line. You don't really see a separation between header and the actual page content, which is cool. It's not a bad thing, because if you kind of forget and you add content there, then you don't have to, let's go redo it. It'll actually kind of allow you to go in here then and add other things to this. So this is a text block, and you'll be using text blocks throughout the site. Basically, most everything you will do will be using a text block, although we can add image blocks, video blocks, etc. What we're seeing here is an editable area that spans the full width of the page. And that's how the site is set up. So what we can do then is this, when I hover over these areas, you'll see this line show up. So it's basically saying insert something here or insert something here. So basically, let's say I want to put a horizontal line here. So I could just basically click, and then heyo, we've got full-on content blocks that we can add things to the site. Text block is what we're kind of using in place now, so you can actually bring another one in place, and it might merge it if it's which is good. It's good for you. But if you want to add like a quote block, you can do that. So let's go ahead and click quote. And so it starts by saying nothing, which is a little weird, but hey, I like this. And you don't have to put quotes around it because it's kind of part of the formatting. And then I'll just say Alan Hauser, and then I'll just say save. Some of the time, or I would say almost most of the time, when you're editing like this, it's not going to always look like it's supposed to, kind of like in the end. So what we can do is normally is go back to preview mode, and then if you refresh the page, it'll probably fix that quote area. Well, I'll do some tweaking on that. But anyway, this quote block does span the full width. It's probably not meant, it wasn't really meant to go full wide like that. But I can show you how we can rescue it and make it, something that you'll want to use. So along with a quote block, we have image block, so we can add, another image to it. In this case, I'm going to use this spacer block, which allows me to actually split this content. If I grab this and drag it, it says, do you want to put it here? See where that line is right there? Or do you want to put it here? Or do you want to put it down here? I'm going to put it down here. So what's going to happen now, when I drop that spacer, is it's going to split this content 50%. So I got 50% content block here, and then I have my spacer block here. But wait, there's more. So you can then, once you start to realize these little design patterns that are kind of built in, it's like, oh, okay, well, if I put my mouse here, I can then grab this handle, and then I can snap these various columns. So here's my quote block, and that tiny bit of text there would probably look better with something like that. Or if I thought, well, let's put that on the right side, then you can do the same thing here. So if I release there, it's going to put my spacer block before it. Get that? It'll probably be a lot more evident when we use like an image block. So if I delete this text block now, this spacer then will fill up the whole width, which in this case, if this was really like an announcement type thing, then adding that spacing there might be all that you need. Or you could also, let's just go into edit. An H1 heading is our page title. So we want to use those for every single page. We have an H1 heading as our page title, or a heading 1. Heading 2 is formatted like this, which would probably be ideal for this kind of example. We've used heading 2s to kind of break the content throughout. So H1 is like the most important thing on the page as far as search is concerned, or as far as Google indexing is concerned. So it's shouting the loudest. H1. H2, or a heading 2, is your second most important thing on the page. So you can usually use those for like a subheading, and those will index accordingly, where this page will index, and then, this page will index with its page title information, all that, and then what would be seen then, what's the most important thing on the page is the H1, because it's largest, it's loudest. So it's pretty much, when using this as a page title, it kind of helps with that value of saying, this is our appointment page. Hey, Google, go here. So that's what's happening there. And then an H3 then is kind of stepping it down again. So we kind of have a smaller size for that. And then a quote block is, I have some special formatting on that, just to kind of use that throughout. So I'll show you where we're using those. We're using those on some of the staff kind of quotes and things like that. So rather than use the quote block, you could actually use this, and it might be kind of a nicer little style to do that with. So and that's why this quote is showing up here. Anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and make that an H2. We're going to be fine with that. Or if we want to go back to regular paragraph, we just say normal. So that's how that works. If we want to bold it, if we want to add italics to it, or just a word, obviously you can do that. If you want to, let's say contact us for info, we can do is highlight that text, and then we can make a link. And adding the link is basically here, edit link, and we're instantly prompted with this. So if it's an offsite link, you could say http www.google.com. And for all offsite links, I've tried to keep the pattern where we're going to open those in a new window. So anything that's Sun Country, we would keep it within the site. We wouldn't do new window, because that's really annoying when you start clicking on links and they're opening up. But when we're going to send someone away from the site, it's a really good idea to open that in a new window. It allows them to visit that site that you sent them to, and then when they close that tab or that window, then they'll still have your site open. So we can show an example. I'll go ahead and hit save and preview. And then, so if I click this, it's going to open up a new tab, at least in this particular browser. That's how I have it set up. And we can always, oh, okay, well, that was just Google. I'll do my thing, and I'll hit close. And then we can come right back to the page and keep going. So that's one pattern for linking and things. Let's say remove, or we could have just edited it. But anyway, let's say contact us is a real contact us link. So we click the link again. And if we know the URL, we could actually type it by doing like a / contact. If we know that, hey, that this particular page we're on, it's called its URL, or its slug, if you will, is called appointment. So if we're going to send people to this page, we would type the word appointment there. The easier way to do it would be even to, I don't know if I have to delete it, but if we click content, then we could see all available pages within the site. So we could basically say, oh, there's our test gallery, brochure, Where's content? Oh, contact, so contact us. So if we click there, now we've added the link to the page. And then by clicking it again, we can basically see that, yes, that was / contact, and we're cool with that. So we just say save at that point, and then we've made the appropriate changes on that page. If we want to combine styles, we could basically put a line break, or actually it's a paragraph on that one section. So at this point, each paragraph you add then adds another insert something here question mark kind of concept. And we kind of already said, hey, let's make this an H2 heading. Let me do that. Actually, let me show you something else that always kind of throws me, and I've kind of found the workaround for it. But if I triple click, it's basically getting everything within this line. But if I select like heading 2, it'll like also give me that. I'm like, hey, I don't want that. But if that happens, you can just select this then, and then just bump it down. What happens is it's all the same block. So I think it just does that. So it'll just work its way forward, thinking that, oh, that's what they want to do, but no, we don't want to do that. Anyway, so that's how that works. Contact us for info. No appointments allowed. Whatever. So, I mean, you can also add links to this content. I mean, like an H2 as well. Same way. Contact us. So we got that. Then if we want to add, like, let's say we want to add an image here for whatever reason, we can just go insert, and then we can say image, and immediately it wants to go full width, which is fine. I mean, because we can change it. But let's say that we didn't want to do that. Let's say that we would instead, let me just delete this image block. Let's say that we want to take control and not have to, like, scroll like that. What we can do is move this image block exactly where we want it. So I haven't released it yet, but I clicked it, and I'm going to drag it now. And I think what I'll do is I will go to, let me just delete this again, and we'll go to another page because, we don't really care about this content here. So I'm going to say save. Well, actually, let me get rid of this content. So drag to the trash, and if once you see the hand, you can actually drag content, and you can actually either drag it to the trash and drop it there, or you can just click trash and it'll do that. And then you'll always be left with a text block in these header areas, for example, but those kind of vanish. So we're back to normal. So let's go and edit one of these fake pages that we created. So here's our request appointment, still pristine. We've gone kind of back to where we were. Holiday extravaganza. Let's go back there. So what we have now is a blank page. And if we mouse over these editable areas, we'll be able to see, we can edit the footer, or the header, which we don't want to really do. We could just say page content, and we just say edit. And then, so in this case, holiday are here again, or something, I don't know. Okay. And we'll make that our H1, our heading 1. And then what I can do is I just hit enter on that, and then I'm just going to get some just generic content. I'll just get some fake text, which designers love to use this Greek text business. Okay, so we have a full width design at this point, and let's say we're going to limit the content to just that. What I've been doing is, because it's not that much, it's like pretty small, you can actually add a spacer element kind of at the bottom and kind of just give it a little more room to breathe. If there's so little, if there's like just a few lines, then it kind of makes things a little nicer, that it doesn't look like, wow, they don't have much to say in this department. But you can also add spacing and things like that if you want to within the content. So let's say we say, holidays are here again. Here's our kind of grabbing kind of interesting kind of content or whatever. Hey, this is what we want to say, and then here's why we're saying it. And then let's say we want to add like an image over here on the right. Let's do that routine. So if I just say, and we can do this insert anywhere, because what we're going to do is grab this, drag it, and drop it. Now here's the thing. it's saying, do you want to drop it here? And we already know that if we do it there, it's going to span, like 12 columns wide. FYI, that's how many columns, how many hidden columns there are. Just again, a nerd forest thing, but it helps to know. I mean, so when we're going 50-50, we got 6 columns, and I'll show you what that means here when I drop this finally. But if I drop it here where it's showing this gray block, it's basically wanting to float the image. So, and what that means, let me put actually additional content in. So there we have additional content. So that's kind of a magazine type layout where you would have, your supporting article or whatever, and then you have your article, and then you have your supporting image, and that image would kind of just flow within the text content. And what that means is when the page is resized, the content will wrap around that the whole way. If we save it, it'll do a better job. But anyway, so at this point we're cool with that. But let's go ahead and just add. Let's add this Sarah picture here. And some of these photos are kind of larger, so they're a little more difficult to load in quickly. But we'll be able to see here how images load in. Typically, it's not grayed out like that. I just think by playing around with it and moving it, I just kind of messed it up a little bit. But what we could do is refresh it. There we go. So there's her picture. So all we did is bring it in. This image is huge. Let me go ahead and open up a new tab, and we'd be able to see that. Oh wow! By default, it actually makes it small. What Squarespace will do is when you upload a huge image, it'll make the largest size like 1500 wide, which is kind of cool because then on I guess it won't do it that way, but on a large monitor, or like a full width image where it spans the full width of that page, it would show up just as we would want it to. And in this case, this image was actually 1,000 pixels wide. But what's cool about it is when a mobile visitor would go to the site, then it's going to load in a smaller version of that same image. So there's really like in this case, it would be a very small image, a small version of that image, or at least half in this case. But anyway, that's just an FYI. So you really don't have to resize your images when bringing them in, unless they're just like huge. If you have a professional photographer who gave you some raw kind of footage and things like that, then yeah, you would probably want to go in and edit those down. There's another feature here called the focal point, where we have a portrait format, which is a vertical format, and if we want to always keep, let's say we can actually stretch this like this, and let's say that we wanted for some reason to make this portrait image into more of a landscape mode, so we kind of drop it like that, and you can see that we've cropped her face, which isn't great, because now any width that you'd go to on the site, it just doesn't look right. It looks like, wow, they should have really given that more attention. So what we can do is we can actually go in and we can edit that focal point on each photo, and that focal point is this little dot, and if we move that, that's kind of the sweet spot of the photo. So on a portrait, on a person's face, I mean, you probably just put it kind of between the eyes or the nose or something like that, and then what's cool about it is then we'd say, oops, I think there we go, save. And now when we resize this, it's always going to stay in that same zone. So it's always going to have the best appearance. So that's always good to know. You can use that little tip for all things. But I mean, you can pretty much see that we didn't edit the photo at all. We didn't crop anything with the photo. All we did was just show what we want to show on it. So it gets pretty powerful like that. If you do want to edit the photo, like let's say we want to go to the, instead of going to like to Photoshop, but hey, we want to make this lighter or something like that, there is a third-party editor built in that you can do those kind of basic edits within the site, and say apply. Let's say we want to drop the contrast a little bit or something like that, and let's say we want to just drop the saturation a little bit, just make it a little less powerful or something. I don't know. So you can do that. You can also crop it here if you want. So let's go ahead and just make it like a square image. And then if we say save, there's not an undo to this. So we basically just took the photo out, we edited it, and we put it back in place. When we do this, sometimes since the ratio is different, we might have to refresh, and it won't look squashed that way. So let me do that. So there's our new square image that we haven't spent that much time editing it. It's like it would have taken a lot longer on a third-party editor to do all those things. So it looks like it did reset the ratio. We had it a little more landscape, but now it's a square type image. And again, we can mess with the focal point on there. It's always good to use a caption even if we don't display it. So in this case, this text would become the alt text on a video, on an image. So I can't remember her name, unfortunately, so I'll just say staff name is here, something. So and then what we could do is just say don't display the caption. But Google and impaired users would actually benefit from that description or that alt text type content on every image. So when possible, always try and use that caption. And then if you don't want it to display, just say don't display. But you can actually put that content where you want it to go as well. I'm just going to say don't display. Save. Another feature really quickly is we can also do a light box, which means if you click the image then, or if the visitor clicks the image, then it'll show up. I'll have to refresh, I think. It'll show up as a large version of that image. So it's kind of handy when in this kind of situation, like if that's a group photo and you want to click that. I think I'm just having an issue with this particular browser, but it would normally go full screen there. I'll take a look at that. So anyway, we'll keep on going. So there we've added an image, and let's say now you'd want to add a video that you might have out on YouTube or something. So if you're out on YouTube and you find any video, you can basically grab the link to the video. So in this case, I would just copy that link, and then if we go back to our site, let me go actually close out of YouTube again. It makes it really easy. Then we're going to go edit the page content, and let's say we want to drop a video. Oh, actually, let's continue with this really quickly. So we talked about how this is an image float, where the image content will adapt to the text content within the page, a lot like a magazine style, how it wraps around it, which is handy. But if we wanted this to almost act as its own column, which we kind of have in place on, I think on like Make an Appointment, we have some images that are over here. And there's nothing else that kind of goes to the area. So it looks like it is a column. It's actually not in this case. So it's actually, let me go back. And this is our holiday extravaganza page, just so we know what page this was. So to do that extra column type effect, what we need to do is we would need to actually make a column by moving this image. So instead of the float, which we talked about before, if you keep moving it to the right, then you'll see it'll say, do you want to place it here? and that's where we'd say yes. So at that point, we're going to split like, we have like 50%, and then we can kind of give it like a 2/3 kind of effect. And I have an image effect on there right now. Let's see if we're saying don't display caption, but it's displaying. I guess we're saying display now. Some things you might have to just kind of kick, just like do something and then refresh the page. Not often, but it's probably just when you record a video. It's when it happens, when you record a training kind of item. And okay, there it's gone now. Okay, so now what we've done is we've added a kind of column to the page, and here's where that 12 column thing comes into play. Is this would be like half or 6 column and then 6 columns, and we can kind of say, okay, well now it's like 11, and if you come down here, there's like 1 column for that and then 11 columns for the content. So you can actually have content that small, and that's where that light box effect will kind of be beneficial. Is if you wanted to have something that small, people can't see it. So, but anyway, and if you kind of come out a little further and one more, you'll see that the image kind of skews a little bit, and that's an intentional design kind of thing that, like a feature that I added. So it kind of looks like the photo's in place. It's kind of like there, and it kind of draws a little more attention to it. So that's how that works. And then if you wanted to add, let's say we wanted to add this video content below it, we could do that. So we could actually, we're editing on the page now. So then we could just basically say, I'm going to drag and drop the video block, and there it goes. It was kind of difficult to see where the line came up, but now in our clipboard we have the video link, and then if I just paste that in, and typically either hit enter or tab, it'll go ahead and cache that video kind of into place, and we could go ahead and save it. Then you can actually add the actual YouTube caption, which it would show it below, which is kind of cool, because then you don't have to retype all that information. Or if you don't want to show it, just say don't, just show it. And then you can also upload your own custom thumbnail image for the video, which means that you could use, let's say we have this picture of Jan that we want to use as the thumbnail image. I don't know why, but basically just showing that you could use any image. You could make a special banner or like a special poster that basically entices people to click play on this particular video. So that's how that's done. So, but by doing that, it kind of cleans it up a lot. It'll make it match, because it's an intentional edit that you want to add. So we could just say save at this point, and it looks like we're a little tight here. So what we can do is go ahead and add a spacer. So I can do that, and then I can put it wherever I want it. We could also add a spacer above these kind of elements too, if we want to do that. And you can see how when you drag things, it's like, I'll put one vertical or right next to this, and you come down, it's like, I'll put it right there, which would do it full wide. But if I keep dragging, then I might come over here a little further and then come down, and then I can see that I can drop it above. So then again, you can kind of pull that little handle and put it exactly where you want it. So that's how that works. And you'll quickly see that, okay, this video does play in place, but it's so tiny that in this mode that you just kind of want to, I guess, just know that about your content, that if you're wanting to do something like that and you want people to see it, but you don't want it to hog the whole page, we could actually do it that we could add that video in a different way, and that's by using a gallery. So I'll show you that. If I put my mouse there and say insert, and I'm going to say, actually it's a slideshow, a grid. Oops, I grabbed it. I'll just do that. drop it in there. So what this would want me to do is to add additional content. Let me see really quickly if I have. I should have like some fake images I could add here. Okay, yeah, I have just some generic images. I'll just drag and drop those in here. So this is actually an image gallery that I just added to the page. I guess this kind of works in this mode, but we, if we don't want to use that particular mode that we chose, we could do like a slideshow kind of thing, and then it would kind of do it that way. We can get rid of the thumbnails. We can add previous and next controls. We can automatically transition between the slides and put how many seconds. So it's very, very powerful. Let's go ahead and hit save just so we can kind of see what this is like, what we're talking about. So there's those photos. But yeah, as you can see, it's also small. So what we can do in this design, I believe, I think it only works on the grid, where we can also bring in a light box, which we might, since it's a side column kind of thing, we might say 2 thumbnails per row, and we could reduce the padding around the images, and you can see how these are horizontal images, so we can actually crop those to square images, and now it starts to look kind of nice, like that. And then we've selected Lightbox, which will actually pop those images larger. So basically, if you have images that might, here's what we did last year at our holiday party or something like that, you can actually bring this type of component in place, and then it'll actually kind of be pretty nice and interactive that way. And of course, we don't have to keep that over there. We can make a slideshow kind of element within the actual content itself, and we kind of span like that, and then we can get in there and edit that. So very, very flexible on how that works. It's kind of nice if you're going to stretch a gallery across like this to just kind of like do it this way, where you might say, okay, there's 7 images that would go all the way across, and then that would look really nice on a page, because then anyone who's going to be accessing the page on like a full screen type display like this would see it that way. If they're going to be on like a tablet, then it's probably like that, and then like a mobile design, it's going to fall back to that. So if you're on your iPhone, for example, and you come to the site, then you'll still be able to see that type of content. So it'll adapt for that. We started talking about video, so I'll go back to that. So let me go back and edit, and I will put this gallery back on our side, and then I'm going to say edit. And if we're just going to do one video only, what we could do is actually, you can actually just click. I'm not doing any keystroke with that. I'm just clicking. And then we can say, oops, I don't want to remove. I guess we can't do it here. Never mind. I'll just use the delete. So these are all photo, these are photos. But if we're just wanting to do a video only in place of this, so it's like larger, what we can do now is push the plus sign over here on the right, and we can then insert video. And I should still have that in my, in my paste, clipboard. And then in this case, we could again change the thumbnail out if we want to. I'll use a different photo for this one. There we go. So that will work there. And then if I say save on that, so now what we have is a video element in place, and it's not right yet because we haven't we're still in this grid mode and we're showing 7 across. So it thinks we're going to put 7 there. So in this case, we just say that, hey, let's just put the 1. And it's going to refresh. And now we've got that. And then we can actually reduce that padding, or if you want to play with that, you can. But then this lightbox mode is kind of where we're going. And that lightbox is not available on the other galleries. It's only on this grid gallery. So this is how this works then. If I say save, looks like a lot of steps, but really it's just kind of like, well, what do you want to do when it gets there? You can have people click and play, and it's just kind of like limited to that. Or if we hit play on this, then it's going to play the video full screen. So that's ideal for a sidebar, because then it's out of the way until people actually want to interact with it. So that's how that works. And because it is a gallery, you can then add multiple images. I'll just drag and drop a few more images in here. For whatever reason, you can do that. So pretty flexible. I'm just going to delete that just because it's a little much. But anyway, let's see what else. Other content items to add. So we talked about adding a quote block, an image block, a video. If you have any audio, you can actually upload an MP3 file. So for whatever reason, if you might have that. Embed is like an embeddable code. So if you have like a third-party kind of widget or something like that you want to put on the page, you can do that. We talked about adding a gallery, a summary block, which we're going to use here shortly. I'll show you how we're going to get into that here shortly. But that's basically a way to pull in other posts, and we're using our gallery, our photo gallery page with those. I'll show you that. And then as far as formatting the content within the page, we've got our spacer, our line, our form, newsletter, map, code, menu, calendar, open table, and bands in town. So bands in town, open table, those are, well, open table restaurant, bands in town is a music thing. Calendar, I believe, works with your event component, which I don't know if you're going to use that or not, but that might be a future thing. Menu is a restaurant type menu, but you can use it for other things too. Code, again, is another kind of embed thing if you're going to add third-party code. Map is just what it says. It's a Google map, so you can put in any address, and then it becomes an editable type block type component as well. And you can change the little design on that. By default, it's showing like New York City on there right now. But we can change, I think our other pages, I use this minimal blue and then show controls. So that's cool. Remove. Let's see, form is what I was wanting to show you. So you can insert a form here. Let's say you're collecting goods for this holiday extravaganza. It's like you have a donation. So we could actually add a form to show that you're interested, or you're going to be bringing something in. So let's just call this one so there's our fake form at this point. So then by default, it'll show you, these individual fields kind of like, right out of the box. And you can edit what you're calling these. But, they're kind of good to go already, but you can also change the order of those. Just drag and drop, and I'll say done on that. But let's say instead of a subject, let's not do a subject here. Instead, let's do like anything. you can add survey, or let's say that you're going to do checkbox. So people are going to bring in goods, and then what we do is say, what are you bringing? And then you could say, peas, carrots, beans. and it'll automatically make, the appropriate fields for that. And if this is required, then you can check that, and it'll make it required. They can't submit it unless that's filled out. And there's other features certainly for the form. Once they would complete the form, then by default, because I'm the one logged in right now and I'm the one who just made this form, it's going to add my email address. So you basically go connect, and you would just add your own email, or wherever this form is going to go when it gets sent. That's how that works. And then if you want to connect this form data to a Google Doc, to like a spreadsheet, you can do that, and you can click here to connect, and then you can basically connect to your Google account, and that's how that works. I mean, it'll basically record into a spreadsheet every time that this form is submitted. You do the same thing with MailChimp. If you have a MailChimp account, I'm just gonna say, I don't know. So it wants to go to a previous MailChimp account I had set up. Anyway, unable to connect. Okay, fine. So that's how those work, and there are some advanced things here too. If for some reason you don't want this entire form to display, what we can do is actually use lightbox mode here, which then will just make a button, and you could say, or what are you bringing? Something like that. And then once people submit the form, then you can use this with or without the lightbox mode, but you usually want to have some sort of post-submit message. Thank you. We'll get in touch with you, or we'll contact you back, or whatever. Post-submittal HTML. What are you bringing? Okay, so then if I say save, and we're on the page, we're reading through, and now they want to. We got to refresh. I forgot. With that particular form, you have to refresh it after adding it. So there we go. So now we're going down here, and we can, here's the extravaganza. We can add our information, and then it'll submit through all the way. One thing, like Squarespace won't allow you to send like attachments, or like the visitor to send attachments. So let's say you're going to start hiring, and you want people to send a resume. You could use a form for that, and a little workaround that I've used is on this form, on the advanced portion of the form, you can put that in your message. You could say, thank you, please submit your resume to Alan H, whatever, and then once they submit the form, then they would see that message, and then hopefully they would click that, and they could then email you something that would match. So anyway, that's how that works. I'm just going to say remove on the form, and I think we've kind of covered the core of those. Line, we haven't talked about the line, but it's just it's a horizontal line, and again, you can just separate content with that. What makes it kind of nice, I guess it's down there now, is like, let's say we want to move this image. It's going to actually do it. It wants to put it there. Sometimes it won't let you put things like there, and if you run into that, what I sometimes do is I will use the line just to separate that content, use it as a knife, and then I can drop that content where I want it. So that's just kind of a little workaround. But and then to get rid of the line, you can just drag and drop that to the trash. I'm just gonna say save. So let's go out to the other pages really quickly and just show how some other things are formatted. It'll all make, I think, a lot more sense when you start playing with things. But like here's the appointment page, which you'll probably be editing content on this type of page more frequently. So let's say we want to edit page content here. So now we can see that this is a text block, this is an image block, actually have a spacer block there, and then I have an image block over here, bold text, and then regular text, another space block. So it's just about formatting the page and kind of what looks good. I've tried to add a little more white space to areas just to kind of open things up. These are actually list items. So if I'm on text and I hit enter, it's going to make a new list. So I could do that. I just hit enter again. So there's our number 10, 11. So that's very simple. Backspace, what I'm doing. If we wanted to add more content to 9, basically put the cursor after it, hold down shift, and you could kind of do it that way. And that's one way to go. Or you can actually format these things later. So if you had, like, let's say it's a whole paragraph of content there, and we want to actually have that be part of 9, then you could just do it that way. I mean, it's going to be pretty intuitive for how you'd normally do it, like in Word or something like that. And then if we wanted that there, I think that's probably going to become 10. So it'll kind of work with you. So that's how that works. And I can say cancel if I don't want to save anything there, which is nice. If you delete a page from the left, you can come down here, click on deleted pages, and you'll see other old content that I kind of deleted that way. I guess generic page was the one I copied, so that's just kind of FYI that's the one that's at the very bottom. My extravaganza. I think I've kind of covered that. Oh yes, we're back up here. Make appointment, request appointment. Actually, here's something to show you is the buttons. I have a series of buttons on the site. Oops, I didn't want to go there. I want to go to here. Fake content. I have some buttons, and there's 3 kind of buttons that I've kind of overridden the styles to, but you can use these again and again within Squarespace. So if you just say insert, and then let's say we want to add a button, you could either add like linked text, how we highlighted the text and we make that a link to point it somewhere, or you can add a button. I might have just plopped it at the bottom. Nope, just didn't do it. Or you could add a button. Click and drag. This is sometimes a sure shot way to do it. So I'm going to put a button there, and so by default it's going to bring the medium button in, which is kind of this style here. We also have small, which I've used for documents. So if you have like a PDF, then you could use that small, and you could say download the file. And then you could add the PDF to it by just saying click add and then files. If it's a new file to upload, you can do it that way. Or if it's a file that already exists on the site, here's a previous PDF that I've already added. Just go ahead and do that. And then you can adjust the alignment on the button. So, and then you can say save, and then these will also work the same way as we learned previously, where it's another block type item, so you can kind of call out text around it or wrap it, or however you want that to happen. And then in this case we have a PDF on there, so if we click that, then it's going to go ahead and open up the PDF, which I forgot to do on this one, which I tend to want to do always, is on PDFs, I always like to make those open in a new window. So you can actually do that here. And that's just, again, so if anyone clicks it, it would act, it would open up a new tab or a new window in the browser, and then it won't be, like, okay, they're done reading this, or they print it out or whatever, download it, and they close it, they can go back to the site. So that's just kind of a tip there. The other styles on the buttons are, we talked about our medium style, and then I have this other style which I kind of created to it usually works best with like an overlapping amount of text. I mean like if it's, well, it was kind of set up for schedule. So if the text can at least have enough in there to make it wrap, then it looks better. So that's just a tip. And then these will also adapt for tablet and mobile as well. And I have a little animation on that one. So that's just kind of a special button to kind of do a little call out. But kind of the standard button is just the that medium button. So on like Dr. Griffin's bio, we have that button being used, and it takes us to that page. So to do that, we basically, oops, let me go back. Here's his button. If I say edit, and we can basically change the text, and we can say where we want that page to go. So in this case, we actually have a page called Dr. Griffin's bio. Is that what it's called? Oh, about our founder. Right there. So you just basically select that, and that's how that works. And that's going to take you to that page. Choosing your pediatrician. These are specifically set up for this page, this QA. So I can show you the formatting on those. If you come down to the bottom and you hit enter here, and then I think shift tab will bring you out one layer, and then tab will bring you in. So it's just kind of a nice little feature, I guess, where you can kind of do Q, this thing, and then hit enter again, and you can hit tab and it'll do the answer. So that's kind of how that works. That's a numbered list actually, but it's only formatted this way on this page only, so you won't see that on other pages. Discard. That's that type of QA, and that was just kind of an expanded kind of thing. The FAQ page is a little more advanced, and this might be one where you may have to call. I'm not sure, but this is code that's in place on these. So to edit this, and it's not overly difficult, but if you come in here to edit, and this is an entire code block, so you can actually click edit on that, and it is code. So you can pretty much see that, I tried to at least comment things out where it says, next question, who are the members of your practice? Our staff includes, and so here's the answer. Our staff includes this. That's actually a paragraph, and then paragraph strong. So this will be bold. Our pediatricians. So that's how that's all formatted. So basically, then if you wanted to add another QA or another FAQ item down at the bottom, I would just suggest you go down to the bottom and select a question and an answer that's there, which this is just a comment, so you could kind of grab all of that, and then the answer all the way to the end of that, and then you want to keep these in place, but then you can copy that, and then you can paste it, and then you can just basically change the content there. So you can either do it here, which is kind of limited, or if you have like access to a third-party editor like Dreamweaver or some other editor like that, you can actually paste that content in an app like that, and it becomes a lot easier to see. Let me see if I could show you that really quickly. And if you didn't want to do this and you want to just have a developer do this, then that's totally, that works too. But well, I'm not sure how. Anyway, I'm not going to go into Dreamweaver at this point because I haven't used this version of Dreamweaver in a while. Anyway, so you can actually edit those things offline. I'm just going to say cancel because I didn't make any changes, and cancel. And so that's the code process on that particular page. Choosing pediatrician, hospital affiliations. So the formatting on this page, basically we have horizontal line, H2 heading, map, and then a text block, and then another line. So this is formatted in a way that it's going to collapse in an appropriate way. And what I'm saying is, like, on mobile where the page has like a limited width, these will all kind of, this horizontal line will kind of fit between each, and then it'll all display appropriately that way. So there is just some consideration when moving things around in here, but it's just kind of again following another pattern. If you wanted to add another hospital, then you would just basically go to edit, and then you could create a new H2 heading, add a map, add a text block, and that's basically it. So that's what I've done there. Let's see other areas. Meet our doctors. You can again copy these pages and then work on new pages if you have like a new staff section or something like that to add. These are just a little different each, but they kind of have their own formatting. You pretty much see that if you have another nurse practitioner that you wanted to add, you could add horizontal line and then add the image, and then it'll all fall into place. Just a matter of working through the page. Medical team, I think we just basically have two images there right now, and then a text block. Front office, I added this request appointment to this page just to kind of show that this could be added to any page as well. And that's a link that goes to the appointment page. And then the gallery, this is what I just want to show you, is this is actually a landing page. So this is just a regular page. And if we go here to navigation, it's right here is where we're at. So what we're seeing then is I have other galleries that I've created, and I've created a folder for these. You don't actually have to put them in a folder down here in the not linked section, but I figured it would keep things organized if you did. So what we could do is let's say we want to add a new, here's a new gallery that we want to add. So what you say is add page and add a new gallery, and then this is going to be just photos. And then I would just hit enter, and it takes me to that page. And at this point, it wants us to add our first item or upload a series of items. And I could either browse and do it that way, or I could just use those same images that I was just playing with earlier. I could just drag and drop those, and each one will upload. And then by default, they're going to show, they're going to do their own thing here. We don't really even have to mess with this here because I'll show you why in a second. But again, you could use the same focal point feature. So if one of these images is like a portrait type image, like one of these, then we want to make sure that we set that up, but by putting that like on our face, that's fine. And then there's nothing to save if you just go back to pages then. And then if we scroll back up to our gallery, so these are considered to be summary blocks is what these are called. And they're kind of nice because they allow you to kind of scroll through this content, but each of these are actually linked to a gallery. These are all four linked to the same gallery, obviously, and then this is, these are other fake galleries that I set up. But You can scroll through this way, and if you select an image, you can go full screen on it and view it that way. But then to add another gallery, which we did, but we want to add it to this page. So we'd basically say, I guess I have this in the header, which doesn't matter, but come down here then. So we have summary block, and so we want to add another one here. You can see that it automatically wants to put it in the right place, or if I want to put it here, I could do that as well. Or if I put it there, it is going to span the full 12 columns. So you just kind of put it there, it'd be easier. And then if I say summary block, I think I have this. Oh, it's a carousel. That's right, carousel. And then we must select a collection to display. So by default, then our photos, our gallery we just added appears here. So then I would select that, and it'll automatically start pulling those in. But we need to kind of format this. So in this case, we'd say layout, and we'd give this a title, which this is the title that's going to appear right here. So I'm just going to say just photos. And then our text size, I kept that at medium. Our aspect ratio, you can change this on all of them, but you just want them to probably all match. And I think what I did is I selected 16:9 widescreen. And I think I just said one item per row. And you can just play with this until you like what you see. You could do it that way too. I think if you put this up to 4 or larger than the amount that's there. Oh, okay. I guess that's what that's doing, is it knows how many are there. But anyway, all right. So I put that to 1 because these are showing 1 item per row. That's what you have to remember that. And then if we go to the next tab, display number of items. So in this case, we want to pull this down to 1, and now we're showing 1 item to display at a time, and then you can use this navigation. Number of items, and then I don't think we have a title or a thumbnail. Oh yeah, we have a thumbnail. No excerpt, but if you had actual text content, which if it's a blog post it would show, but I don't think galleries have that. Date posted, you'll see by default it wants to put that, and I would just select that to none. Looks a little cleaner. And I think that's it. So then if we say save and save on there, then when you select this, oh, I gotta refresh. Oh, you know what? Let's see what I have here. I'm not showing my navigation, but I wonder if I limited it. Layout, items per row, display number of items. Oh, that's what it was. So we can crank this up to, I guess the max is 30 that you could show on a gallery. So whatever, I mean, keep that at a default amount. I guess it just didn't refresh when I did that earlier. So anyway, keep that up. And then it'll keep this little navigation item there. That's what I was looking for earlier. And that works. And then if you select the image, then it would go kind of full screen like that. If you want to change which image displays first, then you just go back to the gallery. And just photos. And I think it's the top left one is what shows first. And we can also confirm that. Let's do that too, just to confirm that that's going to show up right. So now if we go, whoops, we're on the wrong page. Gallery. Let me scroll down, and we can kind of select through. And there's our focal point is working on her image. And if we click that, we can go full screen on her image. So that's how those work. I mean, it's a little different because you have to kind of manage a couple pages, but once you get them all in place, then you can use these photos actually anywhere. So as an example, let's go back to our extravaganza page, and let's say you had a Christmas parade would be a good example. So on this holiday extravaganza, you could say here's what we did last year or something like that. You could actually add a gallery. I want to put it right here. Not a gallery, a summary. And you can then select Christmas parade, and it's going to pull those in. And then you can just format those however you want them for this particular page. So, you don't even have to use it. You could do a grid and have them stacked that way. Medium. So you can change all your sizing on all these things, your columns and all that. So it gets really flexible, and that's what I'm saying. And if you wanted it to match what we did earlier, then you could just do those same settings. Items per row 1. Display. Keep it. None on the date. And save. So I have it in a weird place, but you can see how easy that is to manage. And then if you add other images to that gallery, then they will automatically just show up in that summary block. So that's how that works. All right. I guess other areas that I missed, I will create another quick video because it looks like I probably have other things, but I just can't remember what to show at this point. New parents, insurance, payments. Downloads would be one area. Let me show you that, I guess, quickly. Let's go to... let me show the what to expect when your child grows. So these, again, we have a special style on here, but this is, you'll be able to see that I think it's the medium button on all these. It's basically just repeating the same pattern over and over. We have an image block and then a text block. The bullet actually does show up there on these, and those are automatically styled too on an unordered list is what those are called. But it's basically just a bulleted list like that. It would do that if we added another one here, enter here, and it's going to add that same kind of list to it. Easy. But what I was going to show you is on the downloads. Specifically, what we're going to be adding are PDFs and things. So what we do in that case, let me come down here, is we would add a whole bunch of buttons. So we could drag, button number 1, and we figure out what this one is called. Let's say it's like, I don't know, first appointment or something like that. Appointment. And then we can give it the small styling, which is kind of our document pattern that we've kind of assigned. And then we would just add our other, if we're going to upload a file, then we'd browse for it. Or if it's an existing PDF that you already know is on the site, then you can just get it like that. And then I'll say my new window. And for now, I'm just going to keep the alignment. I'll do those on the left. And then all we have to do then is just keep creating another button. Drag it, drop it in place, save. Oops. Let me go left. Small. Left. So if you had, let's say 8 or 9 downloads or something like that, then you could basically make like your own grid of those. You could keep them in the center too. I mean, just as long as they all match, it would look good. So then you could have a whole stack of buttons like that with all your downloads. And to separate those, then if these are considered like a new patient download, you could actually format that. Text block, new, something like that, and then could do another row. We actually put a line between them then, and then we could do another space, and we could do another text block. And then we just add more buttons. So then as far as the formatting, then it would kind of follow the same design over and over. So that's how those work, and those also work on mobile as well. Cool. Okay,